Okay, so what we've done here is set up a very basic, very simple getting started aquarium. So what's going on at the moment is we have a filter, and the filter is returning water to the aquarium, and we're making sure that there's good agitation on the filter so the surface is getting broken, and then the filter is going to have some good bacteria in the media. So it's important that the media is never washed with tap water. It must only be washed in water you remove from the aquarium. This filter also has a cartridge inside it, and that cartridge is going to get replaced monthly. But I would replace it for polyfilter, because polyfilter will not remove what it's collected. Now the filter is going to help to filter the water, but it's going to use oxygen to oxidize the waste in the water, which means it's actually going to reduce the oxygen in the water. So we've got aerator, and that's going to put the oxygen in the water for the fish, and then the filter is going to break the nutrients down that the fish actually have. So the next thing we're going to do is get, say, about 4 top-dwelling fish. So a top-dwelling fish is a fish that has a mouth that opens up. Something like a platy would be a good example. Mollies, swordtails, guppy, anything like that. And they're just going to run around on the surface, and we're going to leave them in there for 2 weeks. Then, after 2 weeks, we're going to get a Vegemite jar of water and a little video of the tank, so we can see everything that's going on with the tank. And I'll test the water. I'll look at the video. If I'm happy with everything, then we'll put some mid-dwelling fish in. We'll put half a dozen mid-dwelling fish, maybe something like Serpae tetras, maybe something like Harlequin rasboras, something that where the mouth opens forward. That's a mid-dwelling fish. We'll leave them in there for 2 weeks. Then after 2 weeks, we'll bring a sample of the water and a little video of the tank. I'll look at the video, I'll test the water. If everything is okay after that, we'll then look at putting in some bottom-dwelling fish, which means the mouth opens down. We'll put a combination of suckermouth fish, and the suckermouth fish will run around and help to clean our algae. If we're getting algae, we will get more suckermouth fish, and then we'll also put some scavenging fish, which will have little tentacles. And these little tentacles will help to find all the waste from the other fish and eat them and any spare food. And then over time, we're going to be feeding the fish. And as we feed the fish, we want to feed the fish what they eat in 30 seconds. So there's not one speck of food left after 30 seconds. Now, the quality of the food you feed governs the health of your fish. So fish keeping is 50% about water quality and 50% about nutrition. So you want to feed good food like Danichi, slow cooked, not processed food, not flakes, not something that's been pressure cooked and processed and all the goodness has been wrecked. Now, it's got a light on the aquarium. We're going to turn the light on only when it needs to be on. So if we're at work, the light's off. If we're asleep, the light's off. We're going to try to limit the amount of sunlight, particularly if we're getting algae in the aquarium, and getting more suckermouth catfish will help to control algae. And if we do get live plants, we want the light on at least 6 hours a day to make sure the plants are getting some light, maybe 8 hours a day. Then when we clean the filter, as we said, we're going to do that in tank water, not tap water. We're going to keep an eye on the temperature because we want it to be 25 degrees or thereabouts. We've got a little heater there that's keeping it at the right temperature. We make sure the heater's under the water all the time. The light will only turn on the heater when the temperature is below 25 degrees. Then when we go to clean the tank, we'll give the lids a clean. We're going to get a gravel cleaner, and that's going to clean the gravel while we're removing the water. We will never remove more than about a quarter of the water. And then we give the tank a bit of a clean up. We take the media out of the filter. We're going to replace the cartridge if it needs replacing monthly. If you're using polyfilter, you just replace it when it looks black. Then we get the water again. Then we're going to put some water ager and a bit of KH powder into the water. This tank has some shells in it, so it's likely to stay at 7.8, and Sydney tap water is 7.8, so it is unlikely you're going to have a pH or KH problem. We'll just make sure we put a little bit of GH salt and a bit of water ager into the new water before we put the water in the aquarium every single time. And we try and make sure that the water's a little bit temperate. So we don't want to put freezing cold water in. We don't want hot water either. So we just want to make sure that it's sort of similar to what the tank is. And then if there's any worries about this tank whatsoever, the most important thing is just to bring a sample of water and a video down to the shop, and we can monitor what's going on with the fish. If we see the fish skinny or fat, we can tell you